What's up, guys? Welcome back to the pod. My name is Charlie.
And I'm Nick.
And today we have Joey Rachwal on today. Thank you for coming on today. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, special guest who hosts a powerful stock TikTok and post his advice, trading, and how to view your overall investment portfolio. Perfect. So what are you majoring in college right now?
Well, I originally was going to do two majors, but I switched it to one major. So I have a marketing major with an emphasis in sales, and then I'm getting a minor in advertising and public relations.
Awesome.
That's
And so do you see those as being kind of separate from your investment journey and just as a way to kind of fund that in the future? Or how do you see that working in with what you're trying to do on TikTok right now?
I feel like a lot of people like in the world will say, oh, college isn't really necessary for a lot of the things that anyone can do right now. But I believe that I've learned a lot of things in college that I would have never been able to know. Like I can specifically target different consumers based off of my marketing database, and I can see like who's more likely to start investing and who hasn't been investing. And so it's really kind of been able to give me a little bit of an edge when it comes to like what my audience is, because TikTok, once you get a certain amount of followers, it kind of tells you all about your audience and you can kind of correlate. And then reading the comments is really important too, I feel like, to know what they want. But I feel like it's just kind of given me like more the business mindset. It's made me more of a shark and kind of realize that you can't just like sit there and let everyone just go all over you all the time. You have to take charge and
definitely teach you how to create value, target consumers, definitely stuff like it. Yeah. Actually, from one of your videos, a quote that I got from you that I found very powerful was that you said being successful does not require the bare minimum. Is when you were talking about whether on your advice on whether you should go to college. And I think that's something that people really forget a lot of time. I mean, you can do a lot of things, make money, be successful, but if you really want to be putting in your all to try to maximize the potential.
Oh yeah, 100%. I completely understand that a lot of people don't have the resources to go to college. Not a lot of people need to go to college to do what they want to do, but they have to realize, kind of line up, like, is college going to help me become better at what I want to do? And if it does, and you have the chance to go to college, I recommend it for anyone, because it kind of makes you grow up a lot. A lot of people that I know from high school that didn't go to college, they're kind of still stuck in the high school mindset. When you go off to college, you're on your own. It's fight, work, or die and drop out, so it really kind of speaks to your resilience and not to give up, you know what I mean?
Sure. And I think that could also be applied to other things besides college, just as your job, whatever you're really trying to do, just putting in more than the bare minimum will always bring you greater results.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
So I have a question for you. I've been checking out your page a lot, and just a disclaimer, this is not financial advice and it's just for entertainment. So you do your own research, but TYME, never heard of it before. And you are all in on TYME. Why? I have to know.
Well, so there's this guy that I used to go to school with in high school. His dad works for TYME Technologies, and he didn't give me any insider information that's like illegal or anything, but he basically told me he loves where he works and he believes that the company that he works for is going to completely change cancer treatment forever. And so I had to look into it instantly when I found out about it. So I looked into it, and what really compelled me was, one, they got a patent to treat COVID-19 earlier, and that's kind of what made the price spiked in the beginning of February, I believe, to like $5 from $170 because of that news, and then it has continued to go down. But again, it was going down because we're waiting on data from one of my favorite studies that they're doing for this treatment called SM88. And SM88 has pretty much been proven so far with a lot of like thousands of different patients to kill circulating tumor cells in about 15 different late stage sarcoma type cancers.
Wow. And
so it's something that no company has even like had the ability to do. It's basically, once you get to that point, you have a 0% or 2% success rate to live. And they've been able to make it go from a 2 to 0% to an 85% in the research that they've done.
Yeah, that's a powerful technology. I was actually, I didn't have much idea on them either. And, they're relatively a small company, but I mean, I did some research in Vanguard, who's like my brokerage, and that's who I use. They doubled their holdings in TME like the 14th, not too long ago at all. And pretty much everything I've looked up online says it's right now, it's a buy. So I can honestly only see good things going for the future.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of hate on that pick, and then I'm going all in and everything. But with the market the way it is right now, there's so many companies that are overvalued, and it's really kind of hard to see the true value in a lot of companies. And when I was in this company, so I originally started with 800 shares. I went up, I sold half at 416, and it started to go down. And they had the offering at $2.50, which is when Vanguard and BlackRock increased their position by more than 30%. And so when they did that, I started looking at it a little more. I was like, what are they like? What are we missing? Because obviously these big corporations aren't missing something that everyone else is missing. And so I realized a lot of their data has been kind of like hidden. It's not like just out in the open where you can search it up on Google. The only thing you're really going to see is like a Yahoo Finance article about how it might go to $9. But really, that's what a lot of people use to research stocks nowadays, Google, for some reason. But people have to realize that you can't just go off of that.
So when it was going down, you emphasize on your page about patience a lot. How do you like keep calm and make sure you just like keep holding?
I would say it really comes down to you have to know a lot about the companies you own. It can't be like, oh, a lot of people are going into workhorse. I'm going to get into workhorse. And then when it went down a lot, you're going to say, oh, wow, it's a really bad pick. I'm just going to get out, and you're going to sell for a loss. And so I feel like, especially with the market right now, like Penn National Gaming's been getting absolutely clobbered, but it's still a great stock. I mean, they made $1.47 billion in revenue last quarter, and it went down like 20%, which is absolutely crazy. But it was because it was overvalued. And I think if you have confidence in your companies and you know what they do, you know how they're making their money, and you're kind of more updated on what they're doing in their every day-to-day practices, you're not going to be as worried when something like this happens.
So just be sure in your research and preparation before you buy it, and then you won't stress out or worry too much when you see it not necessarily perform the way you expected.
Absolutely. I think it's really important too to like a lot of people were invested in cryptocurrency and it dropped a bunch, and almost every single person that was talking about how cryptocurrency was just making them a ridiculous amount of money, lost all of their profits. And I've been trying to tell people that it's the same way. People think that crypto is like the new stock market, but really you should be investing in stocks, crypto, and if you like sports cards and you're into sports, I think sports cards is a really good avenue to start investing into too. I feel like it's really important to get different sectors, you know?
I've been a collector for a while in sports cards.
And
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite card that you collect? Yeah.
So a lot of my really valuable cards are at PSA right now because they've been backlogged forever and they're not even like taking any more in. But hold on, I just got this one card. I think it's probably my favorite one I have.
Let me see it.
Yeah, these are just some of the ones that are my most favorite that I have like raw right now. So I got this Marvel's Zion Williamson rookie card.
Wow.
It's like the first edition. And so like if you look at his second year, there's a second edition too, but they printed more of them. And so the PSA 10 count on a card like this, there's only 52 PSA 10s.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so I got it for $250, great value buy, especially with the market being down right now and Zion not making the playoffs. I think he's one of like the best cards to buy. I also have a Prism of him, a rookie card, Zion, because if Zion, he has the potential to be the next LeBron James. When he retires and all those old big guys retire, no one's going to be able to stop him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Baby. Yeah. No, I can see that.
And I'm mellow too.
Awesome. Yeah. And so to a completely uninformed viewer, where do you even like purchase rare cards like that?
So there's a couple avenues you can do. If you have a little bit more of a budget, you're not really going to want to go into the packs and stuff. I think like the packs and boxes, I think of them more as like scratch off tickets. So you can win $1 million and get the silver rookie card that you wanted, or you're just going to get absolutely nothing, and it's going to be really costly. And retail stores are starting to not let you buy them in the stores anymore because someone like pulled out a gun or something in, I think it was Wisconsin. And so it's really hard to get your hands on them. So I would advise just looking up on eBay and looking up your favorite player's rookie card and look under Panini Prism. And that's like the most sought after brand. So a lot of the Panini Prisms will go pretty well if the player does good, like John Morant, Zion Williamson, RJ Barrett.
And the same, you just try to buy hyped up players at a cheaper price, wait till they kind of explode, rise in value, and then there you go.
Yeah, that's why I buy packs too sometimes, because I feel like getting a lot of the guys that no one knows who they are. You just have a bunch of random rookie cards, and someone's going to pop off, and that card's going to be worth more money. But I really like breaks. Have you guys ever heard of card breaks at all?
I have not.
And so it's where they get like a really expensive box of sports cards, say basketball or anything, that you wouldn't normally be able to purchase. Like me and you aren't going to go out and pay $5,000 for a box of cards.
Yeah.
But I will pay $175 for 3 random teams out of that box.
Okay.
And so we'll open it live and you'll pay 3 random teams. And so I got my probably most valuable card. It's out of 25 RJ Barrett Spectra autograph.
Wow.
And patch rookie card. And so it's absolutely insane. And it's his jersey number 2 at the same time. And so I'm hoping that gets a 10.
I actually have been collecting like for my whole life, like older cards, like right here. I have one of my favorites, Marcus Allen 8.5 PSA.
Oh, that's sweet.
Card. And then I also have a Franco Harris. I haven't got it PSA'd yet, but it's like in its protector. It's a rookie.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would be really careful when people are buying cards off of eBay, honestly, because one thing a lot of people don't know when they first start collecting that I didn't is when you look at the card, the like line on the sides, you want these to be like the same size. So like this is like almost a perfectly centered card because like the silver on each side is like kind of the same length, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like right here and right here, the silver. And so a lot of the time, like a card like this, it's not going to be equally centered. As you can see, like this side is a lot less than the other side.
Smaller, yeah.
So how much do you think that Zion rookie card, the silver one, is going to be worth if it's a PL? Like, what do you think it will be graded, and what do you think it will be worth?
Well, a base Panini Prism card for Zion, PSA 10 is right now worth about $600, and you can get a silver for about $1,200, $1,600. But the value is only going to continue to go up as a lot of people are concerned about like the supply of some of these cards, but if you want to protect your investment, you can get numbered cards. You can get like the silvers. They make less of them, so there's not going to be much population. But I would really try to stay away from the base cards because, like for instance, the base Zion Williamson has more than 30,000 PSA 10 in supplies. So over the long term, there's going to be more in supply, and it's just not going to make it.
Specialized type of stuff. Gotcha.
That's insane.
So that kind of leads me to my next question of like, how do you handle diversification given your holdings? I mean, I see kind of you don't own specific or few amounts of stocks, but I can see our sports cards and crypto is kind of your way of diversifying.
I would say it is kind of my way of diversifying. I was diversifying earlier on in the challenge, but I was actually like I had probably $3,000 in the stock market when I first started my page. And someone actually, one of my viewers reached out to me. He was a millionaire. He owned his own like orthodontist or something. And so he thought he could give me $5,000, just give it to me, and I could start the $5,000 challenge, and it might be able to make me take off. So I'm doing that. And he told me, he's like, do not trade with emotions. If you believe in a stock and it goes down, buy more. Go all in on one stock if you need to. But the thing is, it's not really a huge risk for me to lose all that money. But obviously, I don't want to because it's still a great opportunity. But I think TYME is going to end up being good. And if you look into an investment enough and you realize a lot of other investments aren't really going to pay off in like the short term or more long term, then if you believe a stock's going to go up and most people don't think it's going to go up and you're physically getting hate on it and like people like crazy on my stuff, and that's usually the indication that it's going to go up massively. I got Plug at $3. I got harassed so much for recommending Plug that I actually took the video down as one of my stock picks, and now it's way higher. And Neo, when I was calling it under $10, people were saying that it was a Chinese company, they were fake, blah, blah, blah. I went up to $60. And then when I was still liking it at 60, it went down, obviously, with the whole EV correction. And they'll say, oh, well, Neo's a bad stock. But it's not. It's just people are looking at it at the wrong time.
Gotcha. And so is that maybe describe your tendency to stay away from like index funds, mutual funds, ETFs, because you think the market's so overvalued right now?
I think so, yeah. I think because if the whole market goes down, it's gonna really affect these ETFs that have been performing like
100%.
double-digit numbers.
Very badly, yeah. And so that's why you kind of focus on specific stocks that you think could yield higher returns than you possibly get from the market. Okay, that's very
at the current moment, yeah. I mean, like normally, like if we were in the bull run in like 2019 still, diversification would 100% be key. But right now, it's just like you put in your money into a company like PLTR, and it just randomly drops 9% the day after you get it because people have been shorting it, you know?
Awesome,
so I think it's really harder to win.
I like that a lot.
Okay, so I have a question. So we're going to do a first time thing on the Post Grad Academy pod. We're going to, you're into companies, right? Like following big companies with CEOs.
Yeah.
You're going to do a draft your own like board of directors. So 4 CEOs.
Tough question.
4 CEOs that could be on your board of directors for a company. Who would
I'd probably do Elon Musk, Warren Buffett for sure. I would probably have to go with Bill Gates just because technical side almost invented computers. So he knows a lot in that category. And I'd probably go with, I hate him with a burning passion, but I'd have to get over it, Mark Zuckerberg.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. Why? Do you have any particular reason why you hate him with a burning passion? Or is it just
I don't like him because basically have you guys ever seen the documentary The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
Okay.
Without selling like
I need to watch that. I've been recommended hundreds of times to watch. I'm literally gonna watch that tonight, but I'm somewhat familiar with the topics it covers.
Yeah, and so basically my whole life I was really into like marketing, the internet. My parents were kind of like, "Oh yeah, it's a fad," you know how all those people said. And I kind of dislike him for the reason he's kind of taking advantage of the older people in our government that don't know how to put regulations on different types of, but like they can't just block anything that's mean, you know. Like I saw a post on TikTok the other day of someone that was running for governor of California, and he was trying to get elected, and he ended up calling the current governor, I think it was a weenie baby, like literally weenie baby from SpongeBob, and they took it down for harassment. And it just so happens that Facebook and Instagram both donated more than $60,000 to his competitor's campaign.
wow.
And so I feel like that kind of manipulation, like it can't stand. Like and then also they're saying that they're adding more users than their whole entire population of the United States in 1 quarter. How do we know that half of those accounts aren't fake?
Probably a good chance that some of them are, yeah.
Yeah.
Probably a good chance.
Definitely. Okay, that's super interesting. Well, yeah.
See, I would have taken a different approach on that draft. All of this fall, like the first 3 were fantastic, but you got to go with my local legend, Dave Portnoy.
Oh, Dave Portnoy is great. I love him.
Well, I'm the biggest Dave Portnoy stan you will ever meet.
Is he going to be on the podcast too? He better respond.
I post him. I talked about him in the first video. I'm going to talk about him in every video until he comes on.
Yeah, you have to film him and his girlfriend in person going to a restaurant to get him to respond, right?
Yeah, he went to my she went to my college actually. She was
really?
Like 2 years above me. Yeah, I just found that out actually.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, he's a really interesting character. I love how he like just holds nothing back and just goes all at it.
I mean, that's how you have to be, like, especially since he doesn't care about anything, like about like what people say about him. Like, it doesn't really matter for him, his point of view.
Yeah, and when it comes to that, I feel like that's one thing that my TikTok's helping me grow. Like, I'm not really used to getting so much constructive criticism. Like, I went from having 200 followers on Twitter to having 60,000 followers on TikTok and all these other platforms. And so I just getting so much feedback. People will just give me random stuff that doesn't even make sense. Sometimes it's good and everything, but I think it's really helping me kind of develop as a businessman, not really caring what other people think. And it just kind of shows that there's going to be millions of opinions.
That's how you have to be in this, in like when you're doing stocks, because like, for instance, I bought $10,000 worth of Doge July 9th this summer, and my fraternity completely destroyed me about it. Like, you're going to waste 10 grand, like blah, 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 blah. That would be worth, if I would have sold at the peak, that would have been worth I think it's $6 million.
Yeah, there's one guy at the vape shop that I go to. He was in investing. He follows me, and he put all of the money. He sold his car and put all of the money he owned in Dogecoin, and asked me about it. And I told him, yeah, it's not a really good idea. And he said, but do you think it could pay off though? And I said, well, I guess it could, but you never know. And so he just kept it in there, and he bought it at like 0.4 of a penny.
That's why
He turned his like $2,000 something into like 60,000, and he quit Wild Bills.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, so maybe let's move into cryptos. I mean, you mentioned you have a decent amount of crypto holdings. I mean, do you have any specific ones that you like more than others? Also, I was kind of wondering personally, do you view these as more of a long-term holding where you're kind of just see if it takes off and becomes a true form of currency and payment, and in which case then holding it for this period of time would be like incredibly beneficial, or just something that if it goes up, you sell and you make a profit?
Well, I think with my cryptocurrency, what I've tried to, buy at the right time, sell at the right time in 2017, 18. And you obviously know that did not work out. It just kept going down and down and down and down for a long time. But I was lucky enough to kind of be through the worst in the crypto market. I feel like that's probably the worst bear market that will ever happen in the history of crypto. Bitcoin went from $20,000, and I watched it drop all the way to $3,600 for like a couple seconds. But yeah, I got one Ethereum at that price level. I basically put all the money that I was saving into this stuff because I just knew that it was going to be big. Because when I was really little, I wanted to put $100 into Bitcoin. I had $400 into Bitcoin when it was at $100. But my parents told me it'd be the dumbest idea ever. I went to my like Christmas parties, my like uncles and stuff. They have a really lot of money, right? And so I was telling them, like, I'm 12 years old, 13 years old. Please buy Ethereum for $12 a coin. It will pay for my college. And they're like, dude, that's the biggest conspiracy scam stuff in the world. It's all going to zero. And look at where we are today. So yeah, I have 2 Bitcoin. I have 1 Ethereum, and I have 1 Litecoin, strictly because those were kind of the first ones invented. I'm actually in the of making a video about Litecoin because a lot of people say it's a bad coin, it's a bad cryptocurrency, but a lot of people don't realize it's a fork off of Bitcoin and it's not going away.
What about Cardano?
Cardano, like it's very, very new cryptocurrency, relatively compared to the other ones. I've tried to stick with the blue chip ones because when you think about it, who back in the day when there was a gold rush, who was making the money? The people looking for the gold, the people selling the shovels. Who's the people selling the shovels? Coinbase, exchanges, and also people that bought early on in the days. So like if you bought Ethereum at what, $16, $20, I got it at $100. But if you even got it at that, you could buy one of Gary V's NFT tokens for 3 Ethereum, and it would only cost you $300. But today it's going to be $12,000.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting.
I just think the best strategy for cryptocurrency, especially getting into it, is figure out how much money can I put in every single day or week, even if it's like $10 a day or $20 a week even, and you pick your cryptos that you put it in and you research them. And as long as they're either one of the big 3, Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum, or it's a new one that you really like the project behind it or something, and if you just continuously dollar cost average into those coins, eventually over the long term, it's going to go up. But a lot of people don't know why it's going to go up. Have you guys ever are aware of the like the Bitcoin halving? Do you know all about that?
Maybe refresh us, teach us.
Yeah, so the Bitcoin halving, the reason why all cryptocurrency in the market goes up is because basically it's a mathematical equation that's almost guaranteed to absolutely skyrocket. So there's a certain amount of Bitcoin in the world. I think it's either 21 or 24 million. But every single time Bitcoin is mined, it's a computer program that's figuring out a really hard math problem. And so currently today, if they mine 1 Bitcoin, they get 1 block of Bitcoin, they get 6.25. In March of 2024, it's going to be 3.125 Bitcoin per block they get, and it's going to be harder for their computer program to mine the block.
The mining is going to get less efficient.
Yeah, so mining, if people are freaking out that mining might be going away, if anything, I feel like that's a good thing for cryptocurrency because then you wouldn't be able to mine any more Bitcoin, Litecoin, and you'd be able to have a shorter supply because there's only a certain amount in the world. and it's being really manipulated right now. But over the long term, as it spreads out throughout the world and everyone has their own individual holdings, it's almost going to be impossible to manipulate it on a singular level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then that'll like create a market cap for it, so they'll create a finite supply.
Yeah, but currently, right now, I'm not buying any cryptocurrency just because the prices that I got it at are just so much lower. And seeing the bear market happen in 2017, and theoretically, the Bitcoin halving happens every 4 years. And so if you go 2017, now we're in 2021. What do you think is going to happen? You know what I mean?
Understood. Could definitely just reoccur again. Awesome.
So you talk a lot about time, but what would you say is your top 5 high risk, high reward stock picks right now? Just for a little bit of clickbait. Again, this is just a disclaimer. This is not financial advice. Just this is for entertainment. So please do your own research.
Yeah. So hold on. Let me actually pull up my Webull here. I gotta always look at watch lists and stuff.
And maybe to interrupt, is Webull your primary brokerage that you use?
Webull is the primary. I used to use Robinhood, but ever since the market kind of tanked at the beginning of the coronavirus, I realized like I never want to be on Robinhood again, because the market just probably dropped 30% while it was offline. It was clearly intentional, and I've never had a problem with Webull.
They had no access. Yeah, that was crazy. Okay. Do they offer commission-free trading? I mean, can you trade at a pretty low cost on that?
Oh, well, it's absolutely free. Yep.
Really? And even day trades and stuff, like short frequency trade or short term trades?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
I really like it. I feel like it's a little bit more weirdly laid out, but I feel like it's a lot better to look at charts and stuff, because Robinhood's kind of made like a video game. You can't really see the real chart. You know what I mean? It's just kind of like a line, and it kind of misleads you to thinking this is a certain formation. I feel like it's a really important. I like trade. Have you guys ever used TradingView, like the website?
No.
Yeah, it's like a free charting tool that you can use online. You can type in any ticker. It's pretty cool.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, so I'll check that out. And so Webull is definitely also the brokerage you recommend for trading.
Oh yeah, I would recommend it currently right now. I also like TD Ameritrade. There's a lot of really good ones. Some people will be a little sketched because Alibaba, I believe, owns part of Webull or all of Webull. But it doesn't really matter because they're protected by the FDA. But when it comes to really high risk, high reward kind of plays, I really think people are overlooking DraftKings right now. I know it's like kind of high-ish. It's at like 44.63. But with the scope of things, with the industry being so new, not every state even being able to use the apps. Yeah. I feel like as soon as everyone's allowed to, it's going to absolutely skyrocket.
Florida's about to get legalized for like in-person, like gambling in what is it, Nick? Gambling, like sports gambling in casinos.
Yep.
Yeah.
I realized that was not allowed, but yeah, so definitely. Okay, so DraftKings.
Yeah, and then I really like the company Switch, SWCH. It's trading at 1884 right now. It's a company that's relatively new. They're building a data farm in Grand Rapids where I'm living. Yeah. And so I actually saw the building myself, and it looked really impressive, like one of the Google data mining places. And so with data being the most valuable thing in the world, I think it's a really big sleeper, especially with the really good dividends they give too.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I've never heard of that company before, but I'm looking it up now. That actually looks really cool.
And I do love NEO at the price too. I know it's a little risky in the EV sector. NEO's at 33.96. But I don't think people realize that Tesla, they're trying to be the Apple of cars, and they're not really. It's not really working out in the way that they think it's working out. So you got California. They're thinking about banning Teslas overall. Wow. Can you believe it?
I was uninformed on that. I didn't know about that. But yeah.
The autonomous vehicles, they said that Tesla was misleading consumers into what the vehicle can do. And so they're thinking about just straight up getting rid of them. And I feel like if things are going to happen like that in the business environment, where a government can just say, oh, you can't sell your product anymore for some really weird reason, it's going to be way too restrictive to be able to be number one in the United States.
Yeah,
I could see that. I don't know. I think they're definitely Tesla is overvalued. I mean, all their profits from the last quarter came from Bitcoin. I mean, from them selling it. I mean, it's just. I mean, they do have great technology, and I mean, I think maybe they might be able to be one of the first to develop like a fully autonomous car and driving experience, which I think could be powerful. But yeah, it's definitely overvalued.
Oh, I couldn't even imagine the possibilities if you were able to make a car go automatically. Like you could put a video game on the like windshield, you know, like it would be absolutely insane.
You're hanging out in your car, why not?
Yes.
I think eventually that's gonna be the future, but who knows how long it'll take.
Yeah.
So Joey, since you are one of our first people on, thank you. We actually have to wrap up, but do you have a message for, we like to call them, since it's Post-Grad Academy, we like to call them the students. So me and Nick are students too. You're kind of the professor. So do you have a message for the students? Maybe even a message for Dave Portnoy about coming on? I don't even know.
Yeah, I would say a message for the students is if you believe in something, don't listen to what anyone says. It doesn't matter if it's Elon Musk. It doesn't matter if it's Warren Buffett. If you believe in something, do it, because I've had hundreds of stocks that have gone up that I've sold, and I would have wished I just held on to them instead of just selling certain ones every single day.
Gotcha. So if you have a passion.
And then also Dave needs to be with smaller creators more often.
Preach, Dave, get on the pod.
He's definitely good.
Yeah, and just like to thank all our viewers for joining us on this learning experience, and hopefully every day we learn something new.
Awesome. Thank you, Joey. Round of applause for Joey.
That was great. Thank you.